Welcome to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Well, Cleveland Browns wide receiver Jerry Jeudy sets the record straight about Shedeur Sanders and the quarterback competition. He believes that Shedeur Sanders is that guy. But we're going to unpack all that here next, here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Well, guys, man, we're about 2 weeks away from opening day in the NFL when the Cleveland Browns take on Cincinnati Bengals. Now, we all know that Joe Flacco was named the starter for the beginning of the season against the Cincinnati Bengals. But throughout training camp, there's been some developing stories. There's been some things that people are saying in training camp when it comes down to the quarterbacks. We've seen footage of Shedeur Sanders on limited reps that he's getting, the plays that he's making out there, not turning the ball over, throwing pinpoint passes, on time and on target, moving the ball down the field, scoring on scoring plays, getting the ball in the end zone. Now, everybody around training camp has seen what these quarterbacks are capable of doing. A lot of footage coming out about Dillon Gabriel that, he's been inaccurate. He's had 3 interceptions in training camp. And a lot of people saying he's not looking as good as Shedeur Sanders. Also with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was brought in to battle a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, which we know Joe Flacco is the starter for the Cleveland Browns. And that wasn't no shock to the world. But everything through training camp, what all these players are seeing and how all these players are reacting, and when they get asked a question about Shedeur Sanders, everybody responds in a fact and in a sense saying that Shedeur Sanders is that guy. When they ask questions about Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett, they don't really get off into the excitement that they display when they answering questions about Shedeur Sanders. And like I said, when you have a team and you have guys that rally around a certain individual, knowing what that individual brings to the table, you building that chemistry and that camaraderie, building that culture. And we've seen the interactions with Shedeur Sanders with the likes of Njoku and Myles Garrett. These people really got Shedeur Sanders back, the players that are in that Cleveland Browns organization. Now, Jerry Jeudy has been firsthand and up close and personal and have seen what these quarterbacks bring to the table in training camp. And Jerry Jeudy basically sets the record straight when the reporters asked him questions about Shedeur Sanders. Now, a lot of things that was said about Shedeur Sanders coming into the NFL, about his arm and about his arm talent and the lack of mobility. Jerry Jeudy set the record straight. Jerry Jeudy has some interesting comments that he said when the reporter Mary Kay Cabot was asking questions about Shedeur Sanders. But before we get off into that, we've partnered up with Underdog Fantasy. And this is going to be a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us. And thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy.
Well, guys, with that being said, man, let's take a listen to what Jerry Jeudy had to say about Shedeur Sanders and what he thinks about Shedeur Sanders and this quarterback competition that's going on in practice. Let's take a listen.
Jerry, can you talk about what did you think of Shedeur's performance the other night, and how have you seen him come along throughout this week?
No, Shedeur, he did a great job the other night. Setting completion, moving the ball down the field, scoring touchdowns. That's all you can ask for a quarterback. He constantly growing each and every day, learning the offense, learning the scheme. And I'm excited for him. He got a bright future ahead of him.
As someone who worked a lot with Floria, how disappointing is it to see him have this hamstring injury kind of second?
Yeah, that sucks, man. Luke been out here grinding and doing his thing ever since he stepped foot out here. So it's kind of frustrating, him dealing with that. But Luke's a baller, so he's gonna attack this workout, make sure he come back healthy and do his thing.
Jerry, have you played catch with Shedeur very much at all? And are you looking forward to maybe getting some reps with him at some point? And if so, he talks about throwing like a really nice catchable ball away from Jonas too. Have you caught passes from him, and is it super catchable?
Yeah, man, we throw the ball a little bit around for a little bit. He got a great arm. I could see it out there, even with catching with him. Throwing it to other guys. He's a baller. He definitely got one of the top arms for sure.
Jerry, how have you seen just Deontay get more and more comfortable since he's been here? Obviously, trying to sort of have a bounce back season after how last year went forward, but how has he kind of just grown since he's been here since the
He grown a lot. Understanding the playbook. Just having consistency out here with the guys. And just getting more comfortable in learning the scheme of things. So, he's been doing a great job of that, and he's constantly work towards that to be better than he was the day before. So, that's all he could ask for, all he could do.
Jerry, how important do you think it is for you guys to kind of maybe even after this Philly trip know who your starting quarterback is, so you can really rep it and get ready for that season?
I'm really ain't focused too much on that. We just focus on this Philly trip right now. Then we'll let the coaches make the decision after that, and we just go on from there.
When you have guys like Luke and Gage, how do you help them make this transition to NFL?
Those guys are very talented, very smart guys that know how to get open, know what the offense and what the coaches want in the scheme. So don't really need to learn too much because they already know what they need to know. I just whatever they ask me, what they need help on, I just relay the message, and hopefully they get it from there.
Well, guys, you heard what Jerry Jeudy had to say about Shedeur Sanders. Now, reporter Mary Kay Cabot asked a direct question about, has he had a chance to get up with Shedeur and Shedeur throwing some passes? And you heard what Jerry Jeudy said. We throw the ball around a little bit, and Shedeur has an arm. He said Shedeur has one of the best arms out there. Now, coming into the season, coming into the draft, a lot of people talked about he didn't have a strong arm. Now, as a receiver, you're out there catching passes from Shedeur, so you know what it is. You know the velocity the ball's coming. You know where he's putting the ball. So everything that was said about Shedeur Sanders, like I've stated in these previous videos, it's all lies. It's all smoke and mirrors. Jerry Jeudy just verified that. He's a wide receiver. He's the one catching the ball from Shedeur. So he knows what that arm strength is. He knows what that arm talent is. A lot of stuff that's been lied about Shedeur, all the collusion. We heard what Eric Dickerson said. The fix was in. But it sounded like Jerry Jeudy said, man, Shedeur is a baller. Shedeur got a bright future. It's almost like he's saying, man, he's our guy. Now, when you have the camaraderie between a wide receiver and a quarterback, that's all you want. And that can go a long way. That could bode well for Shedeur Sanders because, these wide receivers want to stay happy. And knowing that the type of person Shedeur is, Jerry Jeudy knows that Shedeur can get him that ball. So, you know, Jerry Jeudy, man, set the record straight, man. I think Jerry Jeudy wants and advocating for Shedeur to be that guy. You know that Joe Flacco's a 40-year-old aging vet. You know, he don't have too much more to give. But I think Jerry Jeudy believes in Shedeur Sanders. Now, that's kind of crazy why these, you know, reporters don't ask questions about Dylan Gabriel. Like, why come they don't ask what type of arm that Dylan Gabriel got, what kind of ball placement? They don't ask questions surrounding around Dylan Gabriel because this is all about Shedeur Sanders. Jerry Jeudy believes that he's their future. He's the guy. And it's just crazy when these reporters ask these questions, they always set the record straight about Shedeur, about all the lies that was said before. And when you hear these guys speak, everything's different. So everything that was said about Shedeur in the past, these guys are setting the record straight and letting them know, nah, it's not that. Shedeur Sanders is a straight out baller. And we all know that. Just give him a chance, man, to see what this guy's capable of doing. I see everybody in the comment section, #salute. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.